Welcome back. Thank you for watching my AP Bio 101 video course. In this episode, I will be talking about behavioral ecology. So let's get started. So, behavior is everything that an animal does and how it does it. So, questions that you should be asking to figure out the animal's behavior are approximate questions and ultimate questions. Approximate questions focus in on the environmental stimuli, and these are the how questions. And ultimate questions focus in on the evolutionary significance of behavior. And these are basically the why questions. So, an example of this would be a red-crowned cranefish, and basically when they decide to reproduce, which would be in the spring and early summer. So a how question would be, how does the day's length influence breeding by red-crowned cranes? And a pretty reasonable hypothesis for this would be is that breeding is triggered by the effect of increased day length on an animal's production of and responses to particular hormones. So a why question would be, why does natural selection favor this behavior and not favor a different one? Why does it occur in the early summer and spring and not in the late winter and fall, let's say? So a reasonable hypothesis would be that in the spring or early summer, that's when it's the most productive time of the year. And that's where, the most productive time of the year. Okay, so two behaviors are fixed action planned, which are unlearned behavioral acts that are unchangeable and carried to completion. And then the second one is imprinting, which is a behavior that includes both learning and innate components and is generally irreversible. So, and ecology is the study of animals' behavior within their natural environment. Biologists study how both genes and the environment influence the development of phenotypes, including behavioral phenotypes. So, innate behavior examples are directed movements, which are kinesis, which is a simple change in activity or turning rate in response to the stimulus. Taxis, which is a more or less automatic oriented movement toward or away from. So toward would be a positive taxis, away would be a negative taxis. So moving toward or away from a stimulus. And migration, which is moving from population to population. Moving from population to population. Animal signals and communications, which would be chemical communications, which are when pheromones are sent through the body, and that is how chemical communication occurs. And then auditory communication, an example of that is like certain birds have like maybe a song call that they do to attract a mate. So that's a type of communication as well. And then there are also genetic influences on mating and parental behaviors. So environmental factors include dietary quality, social interactions, and opportunities for learning that can influence the development of behaviors in every group of animals. So there are different types of learning. So there's habituation, which shows no info because of the loss of responsiveness to stimuli. Spatial learning, which is a modification of behavior based on the experience with the spatial structure of the environments. And then there's the cognitive maps, which they code for spatial relationships between objects and animals in surrounding environments. Optimal foraging theory views foraging behavior as a compromise between the benefits of nutrition and the cost of obtaining food. Foraging strategies are energy, cost and benefits, and risk of predation. So, with energy, cost, and benefits, according to the theory of natural selection, according to the theory of optimal foraging, natural selection should naturally minimize the cost of foraging and maximize its benefits. And with the risk of predation, it's going to naturally increase because you're gonna want to be able to eat more rather than not eat. So the risk of predation is going to go up, which means it's more likely for animals to become extinct if there is if there's a higher population of predators in the environment than there are prey, which means there also will be competition, but that's a whole nother section. Okay, so mating systems are promiscuous. Single males and having many females is known as polygamy, and a single female and a single male is known as polyandry. So, game theory evaluates alternative strategies in situations where the outcome depends not only on each individual strategy, but also on the strategies of individuals. So there are different strategies of gaining a mate, but it all comes down to reproduction and being able to reproduce. So, I thank you for watching this episode, and click on my next episode to learn about population ecology.